to this week's Members Weekly group coaching session as part of the Personal Brand Hub. The Personal Brand Hub is a community that I've created for founders that are on a similar mission to build a strong and memorable personal brand that positions them as the go-to experts within their industry. I've got someone in the chat, bear with me. Morning, that's okay, James, no worries at all, that's okay. And today we're going to be looking at resonance over reach and how to weave your beliefs, your values, and lived experiences into content so people reach out to you and pay you without hesitation. And if you've been here before, you will recognize my personal brand framework for founders. If you haven't, this is the Be More You framework and principle. So the principle of Be More You is pretty self-explanatory. It's my strongest belief that you need to be more yourself to build a genuine, authentic personal brand that attracts people that are ready to pay you. And it's also an anagram for your beliefs, your experiences, your moments, opinions, results, expertise, your why, others / collaborations. So what collaborations can you have to expand your network? And lastly, to wrap it all together nicely, being unfiltered, dropping the filter. And once shared consistently, you start to attract better aligned clients, opportunities, talent, and funding. And I've seen it firsthand. So before we get started with resonance over reach, I wanted to reflect on the previous session, and that was coffee chats. First of all, who liked Gary's new profile photo? I thought it was shit hot. I think it's brilliant. Who else likes it? Gary is a content creator, by the way.
Yeah, looks and the one on is it your LinkedIn profile or your WhatsApp looks really kind of enigmatic and sexy. So you've got it.
Thanks. That's what I was going for, James.
Enigmatic and sexy.
James Bond, sexy. You know.
That's exactly. I think he looks like.
It sounded like this went in a different direction. I was just going to say that. He's a content creator, and then he said sexy profile pictures. So
he's a part-time job. But I think he looks like DJ Moby from the 90s or something. Anyway, sorry. Back to business. Gary, you've been on holiday. James, have you been having any coffee chats or conversations recently?
I've actually got one today, funnily enough.
Nice one.
And then
Brilliant.
Also from starting doing my content, I've managed to get 2 more potential clients that I'm meeting next week just for a coffee.
Brilliant, mate. And what are you going to do prior to the session?
Do you mean the one today or the ones next week?
All of them.
Well, the ones next week, they're my mates who I've known for a long time, so I already know their background and everything.
Okay, sweet as.
But yeah, just taking it in a sort of casual, colloquial approach.
Yeah.
And then the one today is the investment manager at Rathbones.
Yeah.
So just having a chat with him really about a potential internship or anything, something like that.
Have you done your research?
Yeah, so I've met him before.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, it's just sort of more of a relaxed chat just to talk about options for the future, really.
Okay, brilliant. So always do your research, because this falls nicely into the resonance piece, because and James Hartley and I were talking about this week with coffee chats. Any conversation, do your research, because as soon as you rock up to that call or that coffee in person and you found a common connection with that person and you mention it within the first 60 seconds, this is like Dale Carnegie 101, right? How to win friends and influence people. As soon as you know something, we've got something in common with that person, you've immediately built that emotional connection, that trust with them. It's not about being creepy and like, oh, I looked you up. It's about demonstrating to that person that you give a shit and you've done your research.
Just like out of respect.
Out of respect, yeah, but also just to build that emotional connection with them. James Hartley, just quickly, what's some of the patterns that you've been seeing in your coffee chats? Because I know you've been very busy.
So yeah, they've more been coffee chats with people in my network and actually people who are running their own businesses.
Yeah.
But it's been interesting to see like some of the trends and the highs and lows of doing that. So, but also to Ben's point, recognizing that there's some gold dust in there for the content when you just think you're having a conversation, but actually the questions they ask and the things that you talk about are things that can be quite helpful. So it's just shifting perspective about those conversations.
Yeah. Does anyone remember the 3 C's of coffee chats? So James just mentioned one of them. So you get content out of them. In fact, I've bloody forgotten them now. No, you get
Collaboration.
Anyone remember? Sorry?
Collaboration.
Yes, that was one of them, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Ben wasn't even here.
That's
Gary,
the fourth
James, and
one.
James. Terrible. And the other C was clients. Yeah, no, Ben, you're spot on. Well done. A gold star to you for today. Right, lovely stuff. So moving on, the power of resonance. Now, I want you to have a think about why this particular post went so viral. This might have been, sorry if this is the first time you've seen it, but Fliss is someone that I've worked with. Well, barely. I just did a bit of, I did one call with her. And her post, this post in particular, has just gone crazy. It's got over 500,000 impressions on LinkedIn the last time I checked. Why do you think this post went so viral? And it's sort of like a trick question here because we're talking about resonance over reach here, but there's a reason I think that this has got so much reach. Why do you think it is? I've sort of given you the answer.
I remember reading this, Ben, and I thought it was quite genuine. You know, it didn't feel like chat GTP talk. It was actually real. It was real, and you could kind of, I could definitely connect with quite a lot of the things that she was saying.
You just said the word connect, right? Did you hear that? So what's another way of saying connecting with someone?
Resonate.
Yeah. Ben, you were going to say something?
Just, I have not seen it before, but reading through it, it's what it did resonate with me is that everyone has a polished version of themselves and then wanting to have that desire of actually, that's a bit of me, not necessarily wearing a silk jacket, but more not caring so much and just being you and not having to use that energy or masking.
Yeah, I think it's because people felt it because they either saw themselves in Gary, not this Gary, or we saw someone else or we saw ourselves in it. So we go, oh, I know someone like Gary who doesn't give a shit what people think. And that is what she's achieved here. She's gone out with the intention of resonating. And what's happened as an effect of that is she's created reach. So the point of me showing you this today, right now, is to say, aim for resonance and you might achieve reach. Do not aim for reach and then resonance. Okay. Now, if you resonate, you can sometimes go viral. So what does resonance actually look like? Like, what does it mean? Like, what do people say to you? Well, first and foremost, you actually get people sending you DMs or you have comments on your posts. Like Gary and James have been playing comment tennis recently, which is quite sweet of you two to support each other, which I love. And I think I saw Gary's one this morning. What did you say, Gary? Or it might have been James doing Gary's post.
Which I had one out this morning about it was a picture of a job from yesterday where it was a pair of boots, and I was saying this is the uniform for working on site.
You commented on James's post, literally saying this one resonates with me because.
Yes.
Now that's kind of cheating. No, it's not cheating because you actually did resonate with it, right?
But I think something I've been trying to do a lot lately is just be more genuine and spontaneous with comments, rather than overthinking it and thinking what's, just say it. Just say what you want to say, and don't get too hung up on it, because that's where we get into the kind of imposter syndrome stuff, where you're overthinking it, and it doesn't matter, does it? It's better to be more real and honest than
be more you.
Be more you. Yeah.
Right. The resonance is what creates trust before you ever speak. And case in point, you get DMs from people that say, are you able to show me your pricing, please, so I can work out how to get to the point where I can afford to work with you? This person has DM'd me, clearly understanding my value that I bring to the table, because I've been consistently demonstrating my expertise, my beliefs, my values, and my lived experiences online. And then you can also, these ones here are DMs that someone else has received. I think Fliss received these off the back of her posts. Hey, love seeing your posts and the energy you bring to LinkedIn. Also, you definitely share my kind of personality from what I've seen. And then there's a comment on one of James's posts recently, case in point, and this bit, this is not someone that's in this circle here. This is someone outside, a third party, that's literally said the word resonated, right? So that's how we know what we're doing is the right thing, right? We're on the right path. Okay.
And just on that, Ben, it was something that you'd said a few weeks ago that I hadn't realized the power of, was the resonance of commenting on other people's posts and the reach that it then created. So I commented on somebody's post this week, which had got a lot of traction, and there were 400 impressions of the comment that I'd made. So it's not just what we
post,
it's what we might comment on others as well.
And you can create resonance through comments too. You can back up what they've said in the post to create resonance with other people viewing the comment. And you're right, you can get hundreds of views on your comments.
It's all about visibility, isn't it? It's just another visibility tool almost.
But making sure you're resonating.
LinkedIn now does I've only mentioned it now because you're talking about it. I get notifications now on each one of my comments, how many impressions they've had.
Yeah.
And some impressions are out doing my own posts.
Yeah. And it's a lot easier.
Yeah. So
it's a lot less time consuming. I put a post about this a few months ago and Gary grabbed onto it and just ran with it. Didn't you, mate? And then you just started going on a comment war.
Well, you set us a challenge a few weeks ago and said, everyone try and write 3 comments this week.
Yeah.
Or was it 3 a day?
3 a day. No, I don't remember.
Whatever, but
it might have been 3 a day. Yeah, it was 3 a day. Sorry.
Yeah, but it really kind of prompted me into thinking about and reading and commenting, and you do see your visibility, increases. Yeah,
and I think the key point takeaway here is it's a lot easier than having to sit there and write a post for 10, 20, 30 minutes, right? And as Gary said, you can just do it off the cuff. Why resonance wins? I was going to say why resonance wins there. We've got a bit of wisp. Resonance is the sticky honey to your ideal clients that attracts them in, like bees to honey, or like Winnie the Pooh to honey, right? It makes the right people lean in, and as we constantly talk about, it makes the wrong people gently bugger off and disappear. And it's how you attract clients who value you and value what you bring to the table, your expertise and your values, before you even had that first call. So you end up not actually convincing anyone to work with you if you've really hit the nail on the head. Reach gets you attention and resonance gets you paid. And reach is the wrong metric, buddy. Reach is a lot of eyes and little attention, whereas resonance is fewer eyes, but deeper connection with people. So what would you rather? 3 leads or 30,000 views? 3 leads, because that's what's going to pay you. There's people on Instagram, we talk about this quite often in another group, and there's people on Instagram with 1,000, 2,000 followers. Same on LinkedIn, not a very big following, but are earning 10 times more than people with bigger followings and bigger impressions on posts and all that vanity metric bullshit. Because these people are not resonating with anyone. They're just out causing friction, which can work if it's done correctly, but not actually creating any deeper connection with anyone. And therefore, no one's reaching out to them, like, let's work together. Or they haven't even monetized their skill set, like people on Instagram, like influencers, for example. So what are the ingredients of resonance? Well, these are parts of the Be More You framework, right? So first and foremost, we've got your beliefs and opinions, which signal clearly your values. You've got your lived experiences and everyday moments, which tell real, relatable stories. And lastly, you've got your results and expertise, which is credibility wrapped in personality. Now, because of the work we've been doing together, a lot of you are actually creating resonance through your content already. And even the guest on this call, Ben, so many James on the call, I was going to say James, Ben, has you all subtly create resonance through your posts. I want to help you identify where you're actually doing that. Now, first, these are quotes from people's on this call from your LinkedIn posts. Okay. James Knox, I haven't picked out any of yours. I do apologize. I haven't got any to pick out on yet. But we will soon.
It's all right, mate. It's all right.
So first up, we've got creating content is intimidating, ! Even writing this post, I'm hesitating. After 27 days of posting on Instagram, including videos, it's sinking in. And then it carries on to say, the revelation is people don't care. Now, whoever this was, you can come off mute. And I want you to explain to everyone else who you were trying to speak to here.
More specifically, I think those who wish they could do more and they don't. Because I still feel like this a daily battle. Every single post I put out, LinkedIn less friction there, but Instagram and stuff like that, I hate recording videos. I hate taking pictures, and I hate being that bloke. However, I am mega jealous of Ben, who's able to put content out there. Mega jealous of those who vlogs out in the street and built the businesses on the back of followers and everything like that. So it's aimed at those who wants to, but I guess they're not fair, but the uncomfortableness of doing so in public is stopping them. That was
aimed. You mentioned a sentence there, aimed at those.
Yeah.
So that demonstrates that's a clear signal that you're trying to resonate with people. You're processing your thoughts out loud, right? On LinkedIn. And I think that rawness builds instant trust with those that see that post and read that post and think, shit, that's me as well. You just instantly built that connection with that person, whoever feels the same as you. And chances are they're going to reach out to you in the DMs and be like, Ben, I feel the same, mate. I'd love to work with you. Right?
Wish that was the case. I didn't happen. I got residence and reach, but nothing else.
You didn't...
But it's good.
Well, consistency then.
Yeah.
Ben, can I?
Yeah.
Ben J. It sounds to me like a wee bit like you feel you're putting some pressure on yourself. It sounds like you're saying everyone else is creating lots of posts and content, and I'm not doing enough, or you don't feel like you're doing enough, when in fact you're probably doing more than enough, you know?
Yeah, I'd say so.
There's this kind of, we have this kind of, it's the imposter syndrome where we think people are doing more than we are doing and we should be doing the same, and it's difficult. I've kind of stopped, actually. I've stopped using TikTok because I was focusing a lot of energy on TikTok,
Yeah.
creating videos, but not getting any business out of it, just getting views and likes,
The
which
ego.
is
Yeah.
great for visibility, but it doesn't pay the bills. And I think we're really hard on ourselves sometimes because there's all these different platforms, and to try and post on all of them and keep up with it, it's really difficult. It's a full-time job. And
Yeah.
I think
I think
it's better just focusing on the ones that, are going to hopefully bring some.
Yeah. I think that's a strong lesson to James Knox, especially as you're starting out, pal. When I started out, I was just trying to knock every social media platform, but it can often just drain you, make you burn out, and you don't get any results from it. And I think you continue doing it because of ego. Ego is a big thing here. Ego is what makes people aim for reach and not resonance. And you do need to be careful. And I'm very guilty of it, obviously. You just need to be careful not to continue down a path which is not working, not returning, not directly relating in any return on revenue.
But there is a bit of vanity that comes to play in that, that validation, which, Ben, I know is something we've spoken about, actually seeing the number of people engaging with your post. It's a hard hurdle to overcome, that it's not just about the numbers and it's about the quality as well, because we all like to see kind of big numbers.
Yeah, totally. Definitely. Thank you for your input there, guys. Next up, we've got, you don't realize how much you rely on built-in community until you leave corporate life. Now, whoever wrote this, you may come off mute, and I want you to explain what this signals to others.
So that was me. I think three things. One, that community is important to me.
Yep.
Second, that I've left corporate life and I'm doing something else. And thirdly, I'm thoughtful about and expressing my need of where I find community now.
Yeah. And I think that speaks to people wrestling with the gap between structured environments and trying to build something independent, right? That's who you're trying to resonate with here. Would that be fair to say? Yeah. And then last but not least, we have, then I found my local Andy's Man Club. Walking through those doors for the first time was difficult, but it saved my life. Who wrote that? And
me, sir. Yeah. And well, this was on the back of the sad news about Ricky Hatton, the boxer, taking his life at the age of 45. Just really sad. And I think so. I kind of seen a story there. I've seen something that I wanted to share with people, which was a number of different factors. The fact that 1 in 4 men commit suicide, and this was kind of public. This was in the news about this boxer, and I thought, it's really shit, and it's something that we need to talk more about. And I think sharing my kind of experience of the first time I went to the club, could help people, because that's the biggest stumbling point for a lot of guys is pride and feeling like, oh, I don't need to do this, and when a lot of us clearly do, and it really did save where I was going in life. And I think we're so kind of, us Scots are very kind of proud Scots. You're not allowed to kind of show your feelings or say it.
I think we all are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, the more we do it, the easier and better it should be, eh?
Yeah, totally. I think it's a post that signals your emotional depth and vulnerability, and a belief, right? Keyword belief here, that mental health should be talked about, and that you want to attract people that are willing to talk about mental health as well, because that's an important key value to you. Okay.
Yeah.
So practical prompts for resonance. What belief would you happily lose followers over? Ben G, what belief would you happily lose? You strike me as someone that stands by your values. What's a belief that you would happily lose followers over?
those who are selfish and profit over all cost.
Profit at all costs, right? And do you weave any of that belief into your content or messaging?
I believe I do. When I say believe I do, I wouldn't say it's targeted, but it's more through the flavor. If you follow me over the length of time and see what form of stuff I put out, because I do not boast about invoices, numbers, targets, these kind of things. I post more about connections, great conversations I've had with other people. Lately included Ben in my newsletter where they had, spoke about this, and I guess I do self promote in the sense that I do tell people inadvertently, network with me and I will network you within my network. By the way I do the content. So the belief, I would happily lose followers over corporate alpha males who are just really bold and brash. Happily get out of my network, not interested. Yes, whatever, you're phenomenal. I'm not going to bow down to your superiority, that kind of stuff. Yeah, happily lose them.
I think by the signals I'm getting, you've just resonated with a couple of people in this call as well. Ironically enough.
A couple of smiles there. Yeah, no, it's I do believe in that strongly. I think it's sorry, I'll ramble.
No, it's all right. I think, if we look back to the Be More You framework, the big thing that's really important to you and key is others and collaborations, which is a new one to me, is to find someone that's so passionate and focused on the other side of, or the others part of the Be More You framework and collaborations, because it can really, really fucking help, because you meet someone who could introduce you to 50 people, which is then like perhaps doubled your network or potential clients, right? And you see the importance of that. Whereas sometimes, like, I work with people that might see the importance of other elements, but not understand the importance of others. And I'm like, that's why I'm sort of diving down the coffee chat route of, right, let's see who we can talk to, who can we network with, who can they introduce us to, and how can we expand your network wider, right? Blabbering. What client struggle this week could become a story? Gary, you've been away, but I'm actually going to put you on the spot here because you have been speaking to people before you went away.
Yeah. So we've spoken about this client I've got before who has, I'm kind of starting to think that she's probably on the spectrum.
Don't, okay, all right.
Because
not the one that you don't enjoy working with, because that's not a good example.
All right, sorry. Okay. Client struggle.
Let's talk about like the restaurant or something. I think that was the restaurant.
I'll tell you what, I done a proposal. I had an interview yesterday for a really big job.
Okay.
And I was a bit surprised to get invited to tender for this proposal because it kind of came out of the blue. It was a cold kind of email. But I was really chuffed to get the chance to tender for it.
Yeah.
And I had an interview yesterday afternoon with the panel, with the organization, and I felt the interview went well, but I could tell at the end, it wasn't going to be. And I got an email this morning saying thank you for attending, and so.
Let's flip this, and sorry to interrupt. Let's just flip this and go, what kind of questions were they asking you? What actually was their struggle? Why were they asking for people to tender?
They're looking for communications, someone to take over quite a big project, and I think that because I'm a solo person on my own, I think they were looking for like a bigger agency with more people. And that's kind of what they said in their kind of response this morning, which I was totally cool with because I enjoyed the experience of doing the research and putting together the proposal. And it kind of made me think, well, okay, maybe not this time, but maybe next time, and I'll do things slightly differently.
Yeah. Okay, so I could see a post there about not punching above your weight. I shouldn't say that. that's terrible. But like going for the stars and, you know, having the confidence to do so, sat in front of these people. Yeah, okay, you got rejected. Let's be candid about this.
Yeah.
But not because of your ability, perhaps because of your capacity or something like that.
Yeah.
We're not here and being reflective in a post, like this is what I would do differently next time. Or you could even be ballsy enough to say, not to slag them off anyway, but be like, this is what I would have done if they did hire me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's an expertise piece is there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I was doing I done a client job yesterday, and I used a lot of chat to kind of help me plan the job I was doing yesterday. And as I was driving to the job, I was talking to chat and getting it to summarize things. I kept thinking this would be a great post as well. This is what I do.
Okay, well there we go.
For any job, I do a lot of prep, and I
Yeah.
use chat to do action planning and things, and so that when I arrive on site,
Yeah.
you know, I feel fully prepped.
Well, there's a post there. So there you go. I've just done my job. Every no is closer to a yes. Just remember that. Why people buy Resonance. This is really important because they feel like they know you before you've met them, and they trust you and they trust your perspective on the way of solving your particular problem because of what you've shared online, because you've shown your expertise. This is how I do my job. Do you like the way I do my job? If not, fine, I'm not for you. If you do like the way I solve this problem, then perhaps we should have a chat. And they already believe you're the right fit, which means, this is like the key line for today, sales conversations become easy, if not non-existent. And what I mean by that is you shouldn't be having to convince anyone to work with you if you've got a strong and memorable and clear personal brand that speaks to your expertise and demonstrates on a consistent basis that you are the dog's bollocks, right? Because you are the dog's bollocks. It's just getting the wider world to see that. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Is that a bold statement to say there's no such thing as a sales call? You shouldn't need to convince anyone to work with you if you have a personal brand. That's the main primary goal here. Any questions on that?